The United States spent nearly 2 centuries expanding in almost every direction, south, west, and even across the Pacific. Yet it never managed to absorb the enormous country sitting directly on its northern border. Which raises an obvious question. Why? The common answer is that America never really tried. The truth is, it tried more than once. It just never succeeded. America didn't just want Canada in the abstract, it actually invaded. Twice. The first attempt came in 1775, before the United States even existed as an independent country. The Continental Congress, in the middle of the American Revolution, believed the people of Canada would gladly join their fight against Britain. It seemed obvious. Surely Canadians wanted freedom too. They were wrong. The invasion stalled outside Quebec in the middle of winter. British troops held the city. Brutal weather devastated the American forces, and most French Canadians had little interest in joining what they saw as a Protestant rebellion. The invasion collapsed, and the Americans returned home empty-handed. But many believed the failure was only temporary. Surely a stronger United States with a real army would succeed. It didn't. The War of 1812 is often remembered for the burning of Washington and naval battles, but the United States also had a much bigger goal: taking Canada. Many American politicians believed the conquest would be easy. One congressman even called it a mere matter of marching. History proved him spectacularly wrong. American forces were defeated at Queenston Heights. Detroit, an American city, was surrendered to a smaller British-Canadian force without a major fight. And by 1814, it was British troops burning Washington, not American soldiers capturing Montreal. When the Treaty of Ghent ended the war, every border remained exactly where it had been before. After 2 invasions spanning nearly 40 years, the United States had failed to gain a single acre of Canadian territory. But the most important consequence wasn't America's defeat. It was Canada's victory. Defeating the United States twice became a defining part of Canadian identity. From that moment on, conquering Canada stopped being a military problem. It became a political one. Even if the United States had won on the battlefield, annexing Canada would still have been incredibly difficult. The real obstacle wasn't military power. It was politics, identity, and a border that both countries gradually stopped wanting to erase. Because even a successful invasion wouldn't have changed one crucial fact. Most Canadians simply didn't want to become Americans. Even if the United States had captured Montreal, it still would have faced a much bigger problem. The people living there didn't want to become Americans. After the American Revolution, around 50,000 loyalists, colonists who had remained loyal to the British Crown, moved north into Canada. These weren't undecided people. They had already rejected the American Revolution and built new communities around British rule. Then diplomacy changed everything. The Rush-Bagot Agreement of 1817 demilitarized the Great Lakes. The Oregon Treaty of 1846 established the 49th parallel as the border across much of North America. With every treaty, another invasion became politically harder to justify. At the same time, America's attention shifted west. Texas, California, Oregon, the Pacific. There was an entire continent waiting to be settled, and it offered far greater rewards than trying to conquer a population that had repeatedly resisted becoming American. Meanwhile, Canada became more united. The Fenian raids of the 1860s, carried out by Irish-American veterans hoping to pressure Britain, failed completely. Instead of weakening Canada, they convinced many Canadians that they needed a stronger, more united country. Only a few years later, in 1867, Canada officially became a confederation. By then, annexing Canada was no longer a realistic goal. The United States didn't stop because it lacked ambition. It stopped because Canada wasn't an empty frontier waiting to be claimed. It had become a stable society with its own identity, its own government, and its own people, most of whom had no desire to become Americans. Canada was never the 51st state because it never wanted to be. Sometimes the most important borders in history aren't defended by armies, but by the people living behind them. Subscribe to Empire Atlas for more history that explains not just what happened, but why it happened.